call of the Hogs can be heard all the way to San Francisco.
You're listening to Pod at the Palace with Curtis Wilkerson on Inside Arkansas.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday and welcome back to the Pod at the Palace. I'm your host, Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas. Hope everybody's week is off to a good start. Heck, more than that, I hope everybody's summer is off to a good start now that we're going to have to do this without the Razorbacks for a couple of months here. And since it is summer, I have to ask you, where's a better place to spend it than on the lake, right? I can't think of very many, and that's why you might need to hit up our friends over at Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. Hey, you know what? Maybe you don't own a boat. That's okay. A lot of us don't. I don't, certainly, but you don't have to. And that's where Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas has you covered. They give you access to the boats without the commitment. This is boating that fits your lifestyle. It's fun, it's flexible, and it's stress-free. Hey, listen, with 3 locations in Arkansas, lake time is closer than you think. They take care of the boat. You can simply enjoy the moment from Cape Cod to the California coast. Your next boat day is right in front of you, whether you prefer Greer's Ferry Lake or Lake Hamilton or a day on the river in Little Rock. Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas will make your summer in the natural state the best one yet. Check out their website, www.freedomboatclubar.com today, and learn more about the benefits of joining the club, or scan that QR code in the top right-hand corner of your screen. Let's talk a little bit of hoops, shall we? Razorback-related stuff. And honestly, what it's going to mean is we're going to have a lot of creative things to talk about as we kind of preview this Razorback roster and the upcoming season and the players and who fits where and what it's going to look like. We'll do some blasts from the past and compare to old rosters, and we got a lot of stuff going on, but we'll also be doing a lot of reactions, most likely to what we hope will be some practice clips that they could release, hint, hint, wink, wink, at some point here. That'd be cool. If we could see it, the guy's been on campus for weeks now. Can I get a layup from Malik Ewan or something? Please? Drive me crazy, man. I got the itch. I need to scratch it. You know what I mean? Come on. The other part of that is we're going to be seeing a ton of John Calipari, and we're going to be reacting to a ton of things that John Calipari says and what people say about him. So here we go again. Before we get started, I have to just take a quick couple minutes here to laugh, I guess, once again at, what I assume is a vocal minority, obviously, of BBN and, other media or whatever. They just can't let go of John Calipari. It's just wild to me. I mean, these folks will dunk all over themselves time and time again if it means fitting a narrative that'll discredit Cal and his accomplishments. And my guy, High School Top Recruits on X, he put out the graphic. I wonder if all you guys saw it. As a matter of fact, hang on a second, I'll just pull it up. But it was essentially, boom, there you go. SEC coaches ranked by NCAA tournament win percentages. Very interesting, right? John Calipari at second on that list at 72%. He's got nearly 30 more NCAA tournament games than anyone else on that list. That's insane. And I guess part of you could look at it and be like, wow, he's old, right? Like, Cal's been around for a minute, man. That's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. But seeing some of the reaction to it, I think it's just interesting. And we almost need to scale John Calipari's standards because he's kind of held to a different standard. And part of that's because of the success that he's had. I mean, it's kind of absurd. 59 NCAA tournament wins and counting, another Sweet 16 this year in year 1 at Arkansas. And if he gets another one next year, he'll pass Jim Boeheim for the fourth most NCAA tournament wins all time. Boeheim only has 1 ring, by the way. Does he get drugged through the mud every day for it? That's just a wild amount of victories and success. And it's a cool stat and a cool accolade. This could have just been a really cool graphic. It could just be a damn, man, like Cal's getting old, but the man's been around for a hot minute. But look at that. Look at those numbers. But immediately, like clockwork, the vultures are out there doing the 59 wins and 1 ring bit. They think it's a flex, but it's not really. I mean, yeah, that guy really sucks, doesn't he? He's top 5 all time in March Madness victories, and he has a championship. I just don't understand how this can become a controversial thing. Like this is some kind of vehicle to prove somebody's point that Cal's not a great coach. I don't think this is the route that you need to take. Hey, feel however you want. Right? It's like everybody's fair to share their own opinions and feel however they want. Like I'm not trying to tell anybody how they should feel. But if you're going to share your opinions, I'm damn sure going to share mine too. You know what I mean? I've got folks from fan bases who have 0 rings from any coach ever in my mentions telling me that Cal sucks because he only has 1 ring. And hey, maybe you feel like with the opportunities that he's had that, he should have gotten more. I know he's been to 6 Final Fours, and so that kind of puts you right there on the brink, and you've only broken all the way through once. Is that the way you're looking at it? Like maybe he should have more than 1 by now? But I just, still, I just feel like using what's almost an unprecedented level of success and weaponizing it to try to discredit him, it's Looney Tune stuff to me. Because honestly, like if we had all day here, we could take a few hours and go through the list of coaches who have fewer than 59 NCAA tournament wins and 0 championships. I guess Arkansas would be better off with one of them. I don't understand. Yeah. But what about all the talent that he had? What about that talent? He's only got 1 ring. John Calipari recruited and has recruited at an elite level, and he has won at an elite level. Top 10 all time in wins, top 5 in NCAA tournament wins. I'm sure he would have loved to have, to have a ring for every finger by now, like John Wooden or whatever. But there's only 1 John Wooden. But 6 Final Fours, multiple championship game appearances, a ring. He had his chances to get more. Guess what? Other teams and other coaches are really, really good too. It's part of it. And there's a reason why the list of coaches with multiple titles is as small as it is throughout the history of this sport. But acting like recruiting talented rosters and winning a boatload of games is like the scarlet letter. It's goof troop business, man. I don't understand it. And I think there's room for nuanced discussions too here, and some people don't want to have it. Yes, Cal has had more talent relative to his peers in a lot of these years, particularly at Kentucky, especially early on, which unironically is, when he had his most success there. But yes, this is a testament to his recruiting prowess. Like he wasn't just gifted those players. He had to go out and get them. But he's also done things differently. And I think that's where, if you wanted to look at the championships and wonder if his method of going about business was the right way of doing it, maybe we could have that conversation. But hey, he's the one and done guy, right? So the debate's always been there about talent versus experience and continuity. Has that impacted his ring count or whatever? Maybe, but did going the other direction allow a bunch of these other coaches to stack their own rings compared to Cal? No, it didn't. So I don't know that we really have to have that conversation either. And then I get but do the last 10 years. He's got 59 NCAA tournament. How about the last 10 years? That's what kept getting sitting to me in my mention. So, okay, fine. I did the last 10 years, went back a decade, 2015 to 2025. Cal's NCAA tournament record over that stretch is 16-9. So that's a 64% winning percentage, which lower than his 72% overall, but would still be higher than all but 3 coaches on this SEC list that's right in front of you. And his 16 wins over that particular snapshot that people continue to choose and send to me of his career would be more than the entire careers of every current SEC coach besides Sean Miller, Bruce Pearl, and Rick Barnes, with the higher winning percentage than all 3. So does that really prove your point, or does it actually fit a narrative, or does it not? Next argument, please. Oh, okay, well, how about we do the last 5 then? How about I just do the last 1, which was a year 1 Sweet 16 at Arkansas. We don't care about those nose in the air standards when, at Kentucky. This ain't Kentucky, this is Arkansas, man. We're worried about ourselves. And we're damn sure not worried about your standards. The only title you have since the turn of the century is the one that Cal delivered. And so that's why I don't understand this. Hey, I may have a sports hate of Kentucky and this rivalry and everything. It's fun to play into it and feed into it. I have a hell of a lot of respect for their program. And that's why it baffles me. Like, it doesn't register with me the hate that Cal receives as if it was just this like this reign of titles leading up to him taking the job and then just fell off a cliff. There's only one other coach in your history that won multiple titles. And the game has changed a lot since Adolph Rupp was running the show. So, like I said, feel how you want to feel. Like, who am I to tell you anything different? I just would like us to be able to worry about ourselves and our coach, and you worry about yours. Do what you want. I just hope that you keep the same energy with his replacement over there more than anything. I really do. Like, I could point out that, the current coach at Kentucky, Mark Pope, has 3 NCAA tournament appearances with 2 wins and a losing record in his 10 seasons as a head coach. If I wanted to be petty, I would point out that he's trending a lot closer to Rick Barnes on that list than he is John Calipari when it comes to postseason success. But I like Mark Pope, and it's okay. I can separate rivalry from reality and acknowledge he's a terrific coach with a bright future. I can go on with my day without balling up my fist like Arthur and worrying about what Eric Musselman and Mike Anderson or, John Pelfrey or Stan Heath are up to. It's like if John Calipari didn't meet the standards over there, you no longer have to worry about it because he's gone. It's Mark Pope's problem now. So whatever. It's wild. And then also, naturally, Oklahoma City wins a title and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander completes. It was just an incredible season. An MVP, got a ring, everything in between. Immediately, and this is from, I saw a lot of Kentucky media doing this, and I just kind of roll my eyes at it, but it's more ammo against Cal. Like, whatever we can do to weaponize something cool against John Calipari, let's do it. It's the off season. I'm going on the Cal campaign. I'm his PR team, I guess. But it's like, wow, the 2025 NBA MVP was stuck behind Quade Green in 2017. Shows how terrible John Calipari is. Okay. Like, first of all, Shai started 24 games at Kentucky. Okay, it's like by the time they got into league play, into SEC play, he was being moved into being a full-time starter. Quade Green was also a 5-star. He averaged just under 10 points and 3 assists. He shot 37% from 3. Like, he wasn't a bum. He wasn't Shai, but it's not like him starting out of the gates was just the craziest thing in the world. And also, we get caught up on who's starting and who's not or whatever. Before Shai was inserted into the starting lineup full time, he was averaging 27.3 minutes per game. It's not like he was just locked away on the bench and not playing. And Kentucky was 12-3 during that time before he got inserted as a full-time starter. So if it's that big of an indictment, then fine. But let's keep that same energy. If Kobe Brea gets drafted this year and he winds up making an all-star team 8 years from now, remember Mark Pope was the idiot who only started him for 16 games when he was at Kentucky, right? I mean, what are we doing here? But I really do think, it's if Cal wasn't, and we know he's a polarizing figure for sure. Always has been. And that's part of it. And there are other things that go into it. Like I said yesterday, I know there's personal relationships and vendettas that got burned and all that. And I know he rubbed the fan base the wrong way over there at times, kind of, browbeating them. People really didn't like that basketball Benny thing. Hell, he called us that like 2 weeks into his tenure. It didn't really bother me, but whatever. I understand that part of it. But as far as his resume is concerned, it's because he's been so successful that people look for reasons to discredit it. Like, he's held to a different standard because of the accomplishments he has over the course of his Hall of Fame career. Fine. Then admit that, right? Otherwise, the same standard should probably apply to everyone there. Like, do any Razorback fans, do you guys do you view Nolan Richardson differently because he didn't repeat in 95? I don't think so, because most are calling for his statue. Like, it would have been incredible, sure, but I don't think it tarnishes his legacy or anything like that. I mean, at least not in my eyes. So, I don't know. Things that stick in your craw sometimes. Whatever. Maybe the better question is, are we, as Razorback fans, are we holding John Calipari to a high enough standard ourselves? Like, what are your expectations? Because I think a Sweet 16 in year one satisfied me, but I think we're all striving for more. It's okay. Final Four roster on paper and getting Arkansas back to the Final Four, kind of taking that next step from Musselman's, like the foundation that he laid here is that's where my mind has been, which I think is a perfect segue really into our final segment, because I want to do a final update of our off-season grades and our satisfaction scale. But first, before we do that, I do need to tell you about our partners over at Looper Auction and Realty. Why wait months or even years to sell your home the traditional way? At Looper Auction and Realty, they offer a faster, smarter option. Sell your home at an auction. No repairs, no contingencies, no drawn-out negotiations. You set the terms, buyers compete, and you walk away with a firm closing date. Whether it's your home, an estate, or investment property, the auction method puts you in control and gets it sold fast. Call Looper Auction Realty at 479-996-4848 or visit looperauction.com. Looper Auction Realty, sold in 30, closed in 30. Okay. So, hey, things look a little bit different on the roster now than they did a little while ago. It's crazy how much difference a trip to Omaha for the College World Series can make. In the case of Arkansas basketball, it meant adding Elmir Dzafic and Paulo Semedo, and escaping any and all allegations, yes, that some came from me, that John Calipari is afraid of a depth chart. Oh, baby, he has one now. And he technically, he still has one roster spot open. Do I think he's going to fill it? Probably. I wouldn't be at all surprised if he does. That being said, I don't know that I necessarily expect it to be with like a home run day one contributor. I'd welcome that. Trust me, if that's what they wanted to do. But I don't know that it's going to be a major, major impact right away type of person if they do make that final ad. Now, the interesting thing about Dzafic and Semedo is that they're both miles and miles ahead of what Arkansas had outside of its top rotation pieces a year ago, but they're not necessarily guaranteed impact players right away. And we're going to talk about both of them tomorrow, but we've had two different editions of this offseason satisfaction scale. We did one pretty early on after they went out and got Malik Ewan and Nick Pringle, and we got those initial return announcements. And then we did a second one after, Boogie officially portaled and Adu officially stayed in the draft and Carter officially announced that he was returning. So now I figure we just go with round 3 and what might be our final offseason evaluation, unless they do make another ad. Now that they've kind of fleshed out the roster a little bit with the additions of Dzafic and Semedo there. Now, if you remember the way that we did this, we had several different categories and we just kind of scaled them from 1 to 10 based on needs and priorities and all that. A 1 to 10 scale. How satisfied are we with the job that they've done? So let's run it back a final time here and maybe add a little bit more to the mix. So let's start with, I got my list here. Give me 1 second. Okay. Retention was where we started. The grade remains the same because it hasn't changed. It's a 9. I had it a 9. 45% of last season's scoring is returning for Arkansas. That's tops in the SEC. That's really, really good. 4 key returners from last year's Sweet 16 team. My thought was always that the pathway to a 10 here would be if they somehow return to do. Like if he did like some of these other guys did and said, hey, you know what? It's a safer bet for me to take the money and come back to college for one more year and then try this draft thing again. He didn't, but they never really expected him to. Regardless, I think a job very well done there. Depth. Now, depth was an issue for him last year, and the last time we did this, I had it at a 6. So, Arkansas pretty much had their top 8, their core 8 in place, plus Isaiah Sealy, and Kareem Rattel at the time. And they've since gone out and added, Amir Brown and Elmir Dzafic and Paulo Semedo with 1 spot remaining. I'm going to bump this up to an 8, I think, is where I'm at with it. Why not higher? Well, you have 1 more spot and maybe they'll add, you look at Semedo and Dzafic and it's kind of, especially Semedo, just high upside But maybe raw, like you'll see how quickly they come on, but you really feel like you have something there. Like it's not just a wasted spot. Like this is somebody who could really, really help you in the future. You just wonder how close the future is to now, right? Maybe they add somebody like that in the backcourt. You know, a young guard, they really like something in. Like I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. You know, a just in case policy, whatever for development. No biggie if they don't, but it would make sense if they did. But I think the other part of it, keeping me from going to, you know, a 9 or higher, is that we kind of expected that if Arkansas was going to make any more additions, that it would be like a no doubt rotation contributor, right? Igor Rizov or whoever we were talking about before that in the portal, somebody dropping out of the draft. Like those are kind of the things that we were looking at, or someone, you know, experienced veteran role player, whatever, who would automatically be maybe like a double digits minutes type of person in your rotation, like a true ninth man. And so they haven't done that necessarily. We don't know for sure necessarily, but I think I'm actually more than okay with what they've done here and the method that they're taking. I think it's going to work out just fine. I do. Like you've given yourself depth by the way of just having more playable and capable bodies. And you've given yourself more versatility and more flexibility with your lineup combinations and the things that you can do. You've done it in a way where you still have, you know, like the top 8 guys who you really, really like, who are going to get the bulk of your minutes, but you don't have to run them ragged in blowouts or early non-conference games or whatever, because you've got 2, 3, 4 bodies who could potentially factor into the mix and help you, especially in those situations. And you hope that, you know, some of them are more than that early on. And we'll talk more on tomorrow's episode about how that might shake out. But to me, between Sealy and Semedo and Dzafic and Rattel, I'm guessing you're going to wind up with at least one, but very possibly a couple guys who will be able to get in where they fit in and serve a valuable role for this team next season, this coming season. And also, you don't have to practice against the grad assistants anymore. You know, Kenny Payne has some big men to whisper to. So all smiles here. I'm really, really pleased with what they've done in addressing something that was an issue, not the way that I expected them to go about doing it. Although we did talk about, would they take those last roster spots and just upgrade them from where they were this past year, which is exactly what they've done, but they've done it at even higher level, especially with a guy like Semedo. I'm really high on him. So cool. Rebounding was such a problem area for Arkansas last season, you know, after getting Pringle and Ewan. I had this at a 9 in terms of my satisfaction scale for the offseason. Well, listen, I mean, you just went and added a 7-foot, 265-pound man with the nickname the Bosnian Bulldozer and a 7'2" kid with a 7'5" wingspan into the fold. So 10. I don't think rebounding is going to be an issue here. I think they sufficiently address that. Are we happy? Are you happy? I'm happy. 3-point shooting. I started at a 3 with this, by the way. Wound up doing some math on just like the freshmen and potential improvements internally, what made sense. And I upped it to a 5 because I think they were a little bit better equipped to at least match what they did this past season than I initially thought. Semedo and Dzafic they're not going to help you much from 3 this season. Well, Paulo maybe a little bit. Like it's a part of his game that has potential. He's going to have to develop it. We'll see how much he's on the floor and what that green light would look like if and when he is. But between him and I think my belief that Sealy is actually going to play regularly for this team, I could be talking going up to a 6 here, but this will be one area, unless they do something with this last spot, that I just don't know that Arkansas really directly addressed that I think they should have. That's okay. Let's add a little bit to this. So freshman class overall, incoming freshmen. I'm going to go with a 9 here. More bodies than we anticipated and more than we were told to expect by way of freshmen, but it's relative, right? Like 3 of them are international players. And so they're a little bit older than your typical freshman. So you have to keep that context, right? Rattel, Dzafic, these guys who have been playing, you know, overseas on professional clubs. They come in as freshmen. They got work to do, but they've got that experience. You know, Semedo's a little bit older. He's been around. He came over to the States, but he had played a little bit professionally before that. So, okay. Right. They're not transfers. They're not necessarily your traditional high school recruits, but they do come in as freshmen, as far as we know, at least for now. I love Acuff and Thomas. I think Sealy's going to be just a sneaky steal here. And I think Semedo has tremendous upside. I really do. So I can't complain, all off season about, not having freshman bigs and all that, and then not give credit where it's due when they go get 2 of them in June. So I'm really happy with the freshman class. The portal class, I'm going to go with a 7, I think. Because, Cal went out, he addressed the glaring hole at the 5 about as well as you could ask for with Malik Ewan and Nick Pringle. That combo, I just love how they have differing skill sets, but they complement each other well. I'm really excited about those two. I am. But I do think they missed an opportunity by not adding a proven shooter, even as an 8th or 9th man, like as a role guy, as a specialist. And there were tons available who would have made sense and wouldn't have broken the bank, and adding a 3rd transfer. Really, I don't think would have been that big of a deal. I wish they would have done that. They didn't. Is it the end of the world? No. But am I going to ignore it? No, I'm not. Overall, off-season satisfaction, I'm going to go with an 8 for Arkansas. Cal and the staff, in my opinion, they checked a ton of critical boxes. They put together a deeper and a very talented roster with what I think is just a really nice blend of youth and experience and returning continuity. I wanted a Final Four roster on paper. Said that from the night the season ended. What are my expectations going in this offseason? It was that Arkansas put together a Final Four roster on paper. And, given Cal's presence and Arkansas's resources, didn't think that was a far-fetched thing to ask for. And as I look at it right now, I think you have a borderline top 10 roster that's got a lot of Final Four qualities. Are they going to be ranked, 1, 2, 3, or 4, or whatever in the, the preseason polls and stuff? No, probably not. But some will have them in the top 10. Some will have them right outside of it. And this is certainly a team that's capable of getting there. So I like it. What would have taken me to a higher grade on that scale? Honestly, like if they finished with Igor Rizov or Masamba Diop, who's going to Arizona State, or Edgy Demir, something like that. Or if they went out and got a portal sniper or whatever, that's really about it. But well done. Like I'm excited. Really, really pleased with this offseason, the way that it's turned out. And man, it changed quickly in the course of about a week there. Schedule, by the way, it gets a 10 for me. It's not even complete yet, but my goodness. The SEC is always going to be what it is, but you've got 6 just incredible non-conference games. You're playing the entire Elite 8. Playing in, 3 great venues in Dallas, Chicago, and New York. You got 2 awesome home games, and you're playing a true road game at Michigan State. What more do you want? So a job well done by Arkansas there. All right, I'm going to get out of here for the day. Appreciate everybody, again, as always, for tuning in, tapping in, rocking with us. I've seen a couple people throw out some suggestions. Hey, could you talk about this? Could you talk about that? Have you thought about this as an episode topic? I'm taking note of all of them, and we will. I've got kind of a running list of things that I want to get to, and we'll get to them. But like we said, these are the dog days. So all of those suggestions are appreciated, and it's already some good topics who've been thrown my way. So I'm getting excited about getting to those as well. Thank you guys. Subscribe to the Inside Arkansas YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. Find the Pot the Palace wherever you find your podcast in audio form, Apple, Spotify, or anywhere that you listen. I'm out of here, but I'll be back bright and early in the morning. You guys have a good day. It's been Curtis Wilkerson with Inside Arkansas on the Pot the Palace. We'll see you next.